Hello, Governor.
Hey, what's going down, champ?
What's going on, man? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, man. I'm happy to be here, brother. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
it
I
was
am
it was
too.
touch and go. Listen, this is how I know you an OG and you're a really good friend. I didn't get no sleep last night. None. I text you at like 4 a.m. my time. I'm like, bro, it's a tight situation. Why your ass up too?
Yeah, yep. I just type back.
How are
I
you
just type
up?
back. Cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool.
I'm happy to be here, man.
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
am too, man. I don't know. It's just something about insomnia. Plus, man, I felt like today is going to be one of those days. So, like today's live stream was something important I want to talk about. Like we've had a bunch of important topics to talk about, but I just felt like the revelation we had a few weeks ago when we watched Sinners,
Yeah.
and then after watching the latest episode of Doctor Who, the
Yeah.
story
Story
in
in
the
the engine.
engine, I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? It might not to other people, but those two things tied together to me, and I was like, there is power in our words. There
Mhm.
is something about telling a story, and we need to talk about it. So that's why we're here today.
Okay. All right, man. I think it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, I thought, the thing is, you had already dropped the reaction that we did for the Doctor Who season 2, episode 5, which is titled "The Story in the Engine."
Mm-hmm.
Just this morning, I finally was able. I wanted to make sure I dropped it before we went into the live stream today, so I
Okay.
dropped my media therapy deep dive, and I called it "The Power of Words." And I think it's one of the better ones that I've done. I don't know. I think I'm finally starting to feel like I'm coming into my own. The strange thing is,
Yeah.
I didn't. I told this story at the beginning of the deep dive. How when I was in high school, my senior year, I had a creative writing teacher.
Okay.
I would just, even though I was an ace in math class, my math teacher hated me because my math teacher, my social studies couldn't stand me.
Okay.
Even though those are my two best subjects, they couldn't stand me because at that point, I needed some serious therapy, and I took a lot of things for granted. And hell, I barely came to school. I came to school long enough. The rule was you had to be at school half the day to go to practice. So
Okay.
I usually showed up to school about the back half of the day so I could go to practice. And the math class, social studies class was in the morning, and I
Okay.
missed it all the time. But then when I did show up to class, I come in and get an A, and they'd be like, "How the hell? What?" As adults, as people do that, wasted potential, and you're just out here doing blah blah. Shut up! I don't want to hear none of that shit. But my creative writing teacher, for whatever reason, she loved my ass, and she's like, "You got so much potential." She called somebody she knew and got me a scholarship, got me an internship to be a writer for Disney, to go to the Disney park in Orlando Disney World, and be a writer.
Okay.
Yeah, I declined that shit.
Oh.
I have no idea where my life would be but I didn't see any value in my words and the little stories I tell. I just be saying shit. I didn't get it back then. I didn't want to do that. Hell, I wanted to play ball. Like I'm going to the pros. What you talking about? I'm gonna be a famous rapper. What you talking about? Tell no damn stories. I want to write Cinderella. I don't care about that shit. But even as we progress, like even when I became a teacher, one of my subjects was social studies. And one of the reasons why my class was interesting is because I told stories. You want to know about Greek mythology? I got you. Let me tell you these stories. You want to know about the Egyptian deities? Don't worry, I got you. Whatever it was, I told the stories that made it relevant, that made it see it. Very much kind of the same as in the story in the engine. When they sat in the chair and they start telling the stories, you could see it on the little screen,
Right.
in the window. And anyone who is a good storyteller can do that. That's why books are so important. I know people don't read like they should anymore, but any good book,
Uh-huh.
that little window to the barbershop,
Uh-huh.
that's right here. Here's your window. And if you're reading a good book and the words are popping off the page, you can see it. And that's why we get blown away when you go to the movies and you see the first time you saw Lord of the Rings. It's like, I've read this story. It looks exactly like I thought it was going to look. You know, and any good story is really like that. I'm sorry, I'm just running off the mouth.
Nah, I'm taking notes. Go ahead.
So I actually, because I wanted to be proper, today.
Okay.
I took some notes. This is the first time I've done this. You know, usually I just turn on the camera and start talking.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a good thing. That's my way. Maybe it's not. Today I wanted to be a little bit more guided. So I took some notes. So here's my comparison and why we're comparing these two things. So in Doctor Who, the story in the engine literally shows how narratives can alter reality and bring beings into existence.
Okay.
Words have a tangible, almost magical power. Now in Sinners, that might explore how powerful narratives, whether they're told by individuals, institutions, or the media, can shape public perception, justify actions, and create lasting reputations or stigmas, legacies.
Okay.
And specifically, if you look at it, this is how someone could be labeled a sinner and how that narrative dictates their life and how they're remembered. Because in Sinners, really, the story circles, as much as we want to think it's about Smoke and Stack, it's not. It's about Sammy, and the way his father labeled him and what he was doing with music, and that shaped his life. And then all the other events with everything else, the empires removed, shaped his life. There's a thing about having an intentional versus an unintentional legacy. I wore this shirt today for our deep dive, which you probably see me wear it before, but this is my grandmother, Geraldine Curtis Johnson, who passed in 2022.
Okay.
At the young age of 102 years old.
My God. Woo, she got some serious longevity in your family.
Yes, she was. And the thing is, in the 3 years since she's passed, it's not like our families fell apart, but our families fell apart. She was a wealth of knowledge, and she was really the backbone to our family. Every time I got an opportunity, before her Alzheimer's got kind of bad, I spent time with my grandmother because she would just talk. That's what she did. She would stay in the kitchen, or when she could, she'd be in the kitchen cooking. There's always, "You hungry, baby?" Yeah. And she would cook me breakfast all the time. I eat breakfast morning, noon, night, doesn't matter.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
She would make me breakfast and tell me stories, and I would ask a bunch of questions because I wanted to know. Like in Doctor Who, the barber's intent was to create stories because they powered the engine. But the legacy is the literal creation of life. As we got to understand who the barber really was and his relationship to the gods, it was the actual creation of life. Okay. The doctor ends up having to deal with the unintended consequences of these stories and what these stories meant, even where he had to shut down the barber's nefarious plans because he intended to take everything that's been built in these stories and the connection to the gods, and destroy it. And the doctor's like, nah, bro, because if you destroy the gods, you destroy man themselves. In Sinners, the characters actively tried to build a specific legacy. Like Smoke and Stack were trying to build a legacy, really just to be free, which that's a whole different deep dive in itself.
Okay.
But through that specific legacy, they were interested in doing it through power, influence, or acts of defiance, or actually all three of those. While others might have a legacy thrust upon them by the narratives that others create about them. And that was part of Sammy's deal in that, and even Delta Slim had, part of that. I just, I want us to discuss this for a few minutes before we let the other folks in. I see Frank and Sherelle in the wings waiting to jump on in. So I did want to give you a chance before I pushed on a little bit. I know I tried to, my mind was jumbled this morning, so I sent you my notes and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let me, at least we were on the same page.
Yeah, the importance of storytelling. There is something interesting in the Doctor Who episode that we watched. What was it called? The Story in the Engine. About stealing a culture story to fuel some other nefarious purpose. We're kind of seeing that. We're kind of seeing that now. Actually, I know I'm about to piss some people off. I don't care. You see, what our president is kind of doing what's going on in South Africa. He's literally stealing a narrative of genocide and saying that these group of people are being hunted down and destroyed. He stole a narrative and he's fueling it for a nefarious end in order to allow these people to come into the country, and people that are literally dealing with running for their lives to leave bad situations in order to survive. Other groups of people that don't look like them, who have that story, are being denied. So that to me is an interesting contrast. The theft of stories in order to destroy something. I like what we're doing with the whole idea of Sinners too. Brilliant movie, and the idea of building your own legacy, but at what cost? And I think each character in Sinners represents one of the 7 deadly sins. I'm sure maybe y'all have kind of maybe seen some of that going passed around.
Yeah.
Sloth, envy, pride, wrath. I can't remember all of them.
Yeah.
But the thing, yeah. And the thing about when you're building your legacy, you have to be careful about what you allow into your spirit, into your home, into your culture, to tear it down. Because when you do build something, you're going to be tested. And we saw all these individual people being tested, their story being tested. Smoke and Stack can be easily compared to with pride or greed and even wrath. Delta Slim, his story with gluttony, because he's drinking and carrying on every moment. Mary with lust. The big one, what you said, is Sammy, who's kind of like sloth. He's dealing with the sin of sloth because he's not stepping into his purpose. And if you fall victim to any of these 7 vices, something is going to knock on your door, and if you let that in, it's going to destroy it. At least that's what I was pulling from Sinners. And the thing is, what was interesting about those vampires in Sinners is that you have to invite them in. They'll pop up, and just like with regular folks in your life, you're gonna have things that are gonna pop up and distract you. That's just how the world works. But the question is, what are you gonna allow into your safe space? You said Smoke and Stack are looking for freedom. That's the story that they're trying to build, but they're building this legacy off of the backs of bloodshed. Like, don't get it twisted. I like Smoke and Stack. They're awesome to look at, but they're gangsters. They're bootleggers. They probably got bodies. And you're building legacy off of that. That's tough. Don't get me wrong. Like it's cool. Like the Kennedys made their fortune off of bootlegging. The Rockefellers and the Carnegies and all this. They build legacies off of blood. Like it's not a pretty thing, but if you try to ignore the fact that what it is, it kind of like takes something away. The country's built on blood and horrible things that have happened, and you do yourself a disjustice to turn a blind eye to it. And if not, you're gonna let that evil in and allow it to happen again. I'm gonna get off my soapbox, but those are the 2 things that I was taking off regarding the building of legacy, which I love the idea that you brought in. Building a legacy through story, because everybody is their own narrator. And the taking away of legacy or the destruction of a people by stealing story, and what you see in the story in the engine. I thought that was really good, Rakai. Thank you. That's a cool little setup that I never really sat in process until you sent me that little list like 10 minutes ago, and I was like, oh, we're gonna have a conversation.
Every now and then I'm just a tad bit, a little bit past shallow, just a little bit deep. So
I just saw. Hold on, can I have one small little thing? I just saw something today that made me smile. I know it's probably gonna piss people off again, but I don't care. One of them old Southern antebellum plantations burned down yesterday, and it's a spot where people go to have destination weddings and stuff, and people want to get married in these old Southern plantation houses with the columns and the cotton fields in the back. And to talk about what you're saying regarding the story in the engine, you are literally stealing a story, spraying perfume on this turd, and taking wedding nuptials in a place where people were destroyed. People were it's the craziest thing. And I was looking in the comment section, and it's two very different stories. It's one side, it was, oh my God, our history is being destroyed and it can't be replaced, and it's such a beautiful piece of history. And then you got black folks, boy, getting the we don't need no water, that mother sucker burn. Burn, mother.
Got their boots on the ground.
Two totally different stories that are being told. One is candy coated, and the other one is real, and that was a place of destruction.
The interesting thing about that is, why are two stories being told? And before I go off on a tangent, that's our fault. It's the country's fault, because we allow this to be done. Most of us don't know enough about our history to recount that and tell it to our children. And we allow them to tell us whatever. I've said this time and time again. History is told by the victors. Whoever wins gets to tell the history. And that's why they're telling the history the way they're telling it. I guarantee you, in the 1940s, if Germany had won, history would be telling us something different.
Oh yeah. That's a fact. Yeah. I agree.
But because they lost, lost badly, as a country, they had to deal with that on how do you get rid of that stigma. Again, legacy. They got rid of it though. So the same way in America, and here's the crazy thing too. The side that we're losing our history, and how dare they lost. They lost. The South, the Confederacy lost. But we welcome them right back in. Come on in, brother. You're one of us, Just change that color from gray, put on this Northern Union blue. And the sad thing is, people go to these places for a destination and take pictures and relive the antebellum South. No one in their right mind would dare go to a concentration camp in Germany, in Poland somewhere, to take pictures.
Can you imagine if somebody had a destination wedding at Auschwitz? Could you imagine? Could you imagine the conversation? But it's the retelling.
And no one would let them. No one would let them do it. I have personally been to Auschwitz.
Yeah.
It is one of the saddest, worst experiences of my life. I didn't take a single picture. I don't want shit from the gift shop. I don't want a goddamn commemorative keychain. Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, here's the thing. It didn't even personally affect me. There's no tie to my people. There's no tie for real to my culture. None of that. And I still was enough of a human to realize this is the worst shit I have ever seen. And the only thing that probably would be worse that I have not seen is on the western coast of Africa, the Sierra Leone, and the forts that house slaves as they're part of the triangular trade on their way to Europe and to Americas.
The point of no return.
I don't even know if and I do know people who have been and seen that, and they talked about somber moment. It's like in real life, you know what I'm saying? Like that moment in Passions of the Christ, you just shut your whole body down. Like this is some, so anyway, listen.
No. I'm with you, man. And this kind of goes into the story, and then the story engine. Like the more you sit and think about it, man, it's really, really well done. Like I loved, like we talked briefly, about how the importance of the barbershop in some communities, not all communities, but in some communities, the barbershop is kind of like the town square in a sense, where information is kind of passed. The community comes to swap stories. Well, at least the men in the community, I'm sure. And it's like that. It may be like that as well with the salon as well. And then you have somebody that's taking that, this center, this safe space over culture can be exchanged, and using that to drive something horrible and deviant. It's really well done. Now I do remember looking at the comments, and there were some people that weren't necessarily happy with it. There was one thing that I didn't know, and here's something. It's like, so apparently there were some people that may have been of Nigerian descent who felt some kind of way about the accents. So maybe there was a bit of a false representation of how that story was being told, because it wasn't truly as authentic as it could have been. Now I don't have the ear to be able to discern that. But even when you're trying your best to even tell the best version of the story, it's still a telephone game. I'm gonna tell somebody this one thing, and then when they tell somebody else, a little bit of that truth is gonna be lost, and a little bit more of that truth is gonna be lost. So whoever those writers were, or the actors, whoever it was that couldn't necessarily convey the authenticity of who those characters are supposed to be, might have lost something. And that is an important part of the story as well, that kind of gets lost. Just a random thing. Go ahead.
Now, here's the thing, and I did read some of the comments too, and I dismissed them because people are going to be mad. People, every time we show up on the stream, people pissed off at something. Okay, you do what you do. And especially when we resonate and can see things like, how dare you, they got out the pitchforks and the torches came for you for the Menendez brothers.
Oh yeah.
They was not feeling what we were saying about the acolyte.
No.
And the thing is, we see it from a different lens.
Yeah.
Yes. It honestly, for us, it's not about race until y'all make it about race. Like, the thing is, and the comments get worse the further you get away from telling a story that people can relate to. And the sad thing is, the world is what it is. We watch all these images in the world, and we watch everybody's story. We watch everybody's story. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about South Korea, but
we're story hunters, man.
And I watch all these damn stories. I was like, damn, that was excellent.
Yes.
I did not watch a story and like, I don't care, them damn South Koreans and stuff. I don't know nothing about that. That ain't at my Dollar General store. Like, I don't give a shit. It was a good story. I don't care who the people was. I don't care if I can't pronounce their names or whatever. It's a great damn story.
Yeah.
And we watch that, and it irks the shit out of me. When people watch a story, it's like, oh, I'm so far taken out of it. I can't relate to human stories. Human stories. People get sad. People get angry. You know what I'm saying? Whatever their motivations, they wild out. You probably can't get mad because what the media has told you about Black people or Mexican people or Asian people or whatever does not correlate, doesn't vibe with what your preconceived notions and your biases. And that's why you're like, I can't watch this. It's human stories. There's a large world out there. Sometimes you need to get out of your own way and go outside your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we were just talking about you. Hey, what's going on, Cypher? What's going on, El Grande? Mark Savoy is in the house. Oh, we are over in there.
The thing I was going to say to your point, because you were talking about people in the comments. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Inua Elims.
Okay.
is the one who wrote the story. He is
Okay.
Nigerian or of Nigerian descent.
Okay. I
He wrote the
was
story.
hoping so, right? Yeah.
He is. He's the only
Yeah.
writer of the story, not Russell
Yeah.
T. Davies. No,
Yeah.
he wrote the story.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he's in the episode. When Belinda goes out looking for the doctor,
Yeah.
and she stumbles, she knocks the stuff over in the market.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Who's going to pay for this oil?"
Oh, that was him. Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not
and
mad at him.
then the
Yeah.
police came and hemmed up Belinda. But the guy who jumped on her first said, "Hey, so you over here knocking over shit. Like, who's gonna pay for this?" That was him. That was him. He just wrote himself one line in the story. He did show up. And if you look at most of the actors in the story, I mean, again, Doctor Who is a British production. It is. So there's, just like America, there's just as many people of Nigerian descent in London as you want. You can go back to Top Boy. You can go back to Supercell. There's a whole bunch of shows that are full of British actors of African descent from some country in Africa. So I didn't get bent out of shape about that. Do you want them to tell stories about us or not? You know what I'm saying? I want them to tell our stories, but I can't believe he didn't have nobody got pissed off when Idris Elba was speaking like he was from Baltimore in a while.
If anything, we were shocked when we found out
As a matter of fact, when he started speaking with his British accent, you're like,
it's like, what? Wait a minute, he's not from Baltimore?
Yeah, I thought that brother was from over on, you know what I'm saying? So nobody got upset. So it is what it is. Here's the burden of legacy you were talking about earlier is that sometimes you get trapped in it. And that's kind of what you were talking about earlier. Because a powerful narrative can be both creative, but it can also be destructive. It can be a constraint. And sometimes, like you're talking about in Sinners, and I am looking at my notes, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
I want to say what I need to say. Sometimes the characters like Smokestack, Sammy, even Delta Slim, Earlene, all of them, Cornbreads, Monk Ass, even, all of them, you might struggle with the legacy that you inherit or the one that you're trying to escape. The weight of your past actions or societal labels could be a central conflict. You got to look at Annie. Annie said to Smoke, "I don't want your money. Your money comes with blood on it." And he's like, all money's got blood on it. He said, "I've been around the world." He said, and he was in a way belittling her beliefs and her practices at the time. And he was saying, "I've been all around the world. I've seen evil done to people. I've seen people killed in ways I didn't even know that you could do." And he said, the only thing that moves the needle, the only thing that establishes legacy, the only thing that can help us find the freedom, the peace that we want is money. And he said, in order to get money, you might have to do some stuff that you didn't think you would do. Like, even if you hear later in the story, Stack is telling Sammy, or it might have been Smoke that was telling him, we went down to a free city in the bayou. We went to a free city. Everything was free. Everything was all black. It was beautiful. Unfortunately, the mayor of the town knew our daddy and knew the kind of evil man that he was, and said that there was no way that evil wasn't passed on to us, and made us leave. We wanted to be free of the legacy that our daddy had. And even though Smoke killed him to kind of stop that generational curse, too late. Because you could say, well, look at their actions. The generational curse was passed on to them. But was it? Would they have been the same people that was if they was never kicked out of that town and had to go out here and get it out the mud on their own? Now we had to go to war and do stuff. Now we didn't end up in Chicago, and we doing what they taught us to do. Hell, back at that time, they fighting World War I in order to get a decent job in the military, because they didn't even want you there to begin with. You was on the front line. You was a grunt. And if you had some special skills at doing what you did, that you got a little bit more recognition, but it's not much. And they took them same skills to Chicago, became gangsters, and became who they became.
Well, they're trying to break a generational curse, right? You feel that?
They were trying to.
They're trying to, right? Yeah. And but a generational curse is essentially being trapped in a story.
Mm-hmm. It is being trapped in a story.
It's your stars kind of already being established for you and being told you can't change this outcome.
But so many cultures, not just ours, have that. I was watching not that long ago. I was watching Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Oh wow, that's a throwback. Okay, yeah.
Jason Scott Lee, and the thing about it was same thing. When he was a kid, his parents said that there was a generational curse passed down from father to son, and that the demon came to take the sons. And they said they even went as far as dressing him up and gave him a regular name. They dressed him up like a girl so the demon couldn't find him. And when the demon found him, they shipped his ass off to America. No. Maybe the demon won't find you in America. And the thing is, we played with that for years because, he died of a freak accident. And, and the people from his community was like, the demon found him. You know what I'm saying? The generational curse found him. You could say whatever you want. He had this freak aneurysm, blood vessel burst in his brain. The weirdest thing ever. But then the weird freak accident, the way that his son Brandon died, and that's basically the end of the Lee family line. I mean, he's got his daughter Shannon, but whoever her children will be, or children of whatever her husband's last name is, that, so it's a powerful thing about, trying to have a control over your narrative and your legacy. Because the thing about words, what we keep coming back to, the thing about words is that they have the power to shape our past, our present, and our future.
I think that is what was the importance of what Sammy was. He has the power to shape. He has the power to understand history because he is a vessel of musical history. He's able to get in touch with the ancestors, not just the ancestors of his own culture, but the ancestors of culture, period. That's a power, in the words, in the music. And that's why the Remick, is his name Remick? That's why he wanted to control that. I'm sorry, I cut you off before you were about to.
It was just I think we talked for a few minutes here, so I do want to bring in our wonderful guests. We have Frank and Sherelle waiting for us.
Hey, what is going down?
Hello.
Squad.
You'll be happy to know I did my research and watched Sinners last night.
Let's think.
Oh, great movie.
Yeah.
Correct. See, we still can't convince Sherelle to watch it. She
I
wants to watch it. So
I ain't doing it. I don't even know why you're trying.
I understood the hype within 10 minutes.
It's such a beautiful
Sherelle,
movie.
all right.
It's a beautiful horror.
Nope.
I'll say that.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. So I didn't get a chance to send them to you and Frank and Sherelle, but that means we're going to get more authentic answers. So my first talking point is, how do the narratives in the story, in the engine,
Sorry, I was looking at a comment. My bad.
Okay, that is funny.
Frank and Sherelle sound like 80s R&B
Solid.
Frank in the back, sing it like I told you to sing it.
That's why I had to laugh. I was like, think about that.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, quick. Huge shout out to Giggly Goods. What's up? Okay.
That is funny. What's up, Leo?
Got me.
That's crazy.
You might start that question at the beginning because I think I missed it.
Not even.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
But you took it all the way back to the 80s, not 2000s, not the 90s.
That's why I
80s.
laughed. I was like, okay.
All right, so how do the narratives in The Story in the Engine and Sinners reflect the real-world power of storytelling and shaping our understanding of events and individuals?
Dang, that's a heavy question. Well, I was like, hey, I'm processing it.
I
I'm
was coming for it.
right.
From Sinners, like you guys pretty much expanded on the gist, but I got an extra layer out of it that wasn't mentioned.
Okay.
When the white vampires were at the door, like, hey, we're all good. We accept your kind. You just got to become one of us. And so it's like they're willing to accept and be progressive, but only if they fit their narrative, their image.
Don't have a feather boa on and talk about no. It's gonna be that brother in the locker next to you. Like, oh really? About to learn about prison on the football team. No sir.
So stupid. Lord.
Oh my God. Anyway, thank you as always. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Sherelle, coming through. Frank, any last remarks, sir?
You're all crazy. I love you guys.
We try. Sherelle, any last remarks, dear?
Not really. This is fun.
Yeah, Sherelle, I swear.
All the things I was like, I have to keep my mouth shut a lot.
I can't wait for sure. Just so y'all know, publicly, Sherelle will be making content.
Yep.
Sherelle will be making content.
We absolutely expect for everyone.
Show some love.
I know everyone who fools with Syntell, all 7 million of them people. I'm still waiting on y'all to hit my subscribe button, but that's okay. Listen, come on through. When you get here, it doesn't matter. You family, come on in. But I'm still waiting on your ass though. I ain't forgot. But if you fool with Syntell, if you fool with me, if you fool with Frank, if you fool with Sherelle, we all expect for once Sherelle drops her content, for you hit that subscribe button, for you hit the like button, for you to comment, for you to share.
Day one.
Nope.
I don't even know what it's going to be about yet, but it's going to be worth it.
I know it's going to be off the chain, whatever it is.
I can't wait. I already know it's going to be something that's going to be a clutch to pearl moment. Like, oh, my God.
She just needs to hit record whenever it's talking to me about whatever's the heck.
Oh God, story. No, that cannot. Half of that cannot go out.
She'd have had some great content if we just like after this goes off, if we just hit the record button and let her go. Listen, that shit would be fantastic.
Yeah, the after hours.
You know how many times I probably would have been canceled by now.
Probably the green room. Sorry. The green room is off the chain. You don't know what you're gonna do.
There's far worse people not getting canceled, so I think we're good.
Yeah. All right, Syntell, my boy, you got any last remarks?
Yeah, quick plug. If you haven't gone over to Rakai's page, hit the subscription button, like for real. The deep dives are great. Show some love to the Patreon, for real. In case you didn't know, Frank has been hopping on here with me, and we've been knocking out From. From has been great. It's been, first off, shout out to the From fan base. Y'all have been, you get to see Frank in rare form, and we get to chop it up. Somebody in the chat said something earlier. They were saying Frank does a very good job of cooling me down because I be bouncing all over the place. Everybody be like, I need you to chill out and watch the screen because something important is happening.
And I'll remind you of when you forget.
Yeah, exactly. So it is tons of fun. Rakai and I will be putting out Forever relatively shortly. It's actually done, but I don't think we're gonna post until this weekend, and maybe at least get a couple more. But From is coming. Michael Clare and I we're still been doing on the Tyler Perry kick. It's been interesting to say the least. And let's see. We just finished up Andor. We got supercuts coming. The first Andor supercut just dropped today, so we're going to be, in case there's any old projects that was in our catalog that you wanted to see kind of quickly. That's what the supercuts are going to be for. So you'll be seeing a lot more of those, and you will be seeing me with my foot square in Sherelle ass if she don't get this content going.
Oh, good Lord.
It's coming from a place of love. So that's it. Those only one. Oh, show some love to the Geekish Network as well. Binge-worthy this Wednesday is we're doing Andor. I'm not sure. Well, it's to be
probably.
Is Chuck gonna be there? Lord Jesus.
You'll be there hating. Yes.
One more big one. If you did want to see the Frank and I actually record live, Patreon members get special section in the Discord. You can watch us do these lives. Frank, we knock out like 4 episodes. Yeah. We have full blown like binge outs.
Typically on Sundays,
Sunday mornings.
We hit on average 2 to 4.
Yeah, at least that. So if you wanted to get that,
if it wasn't Mother's Day, I would have said 6.
Yeah, you get my butt kicked. No way.
Oh, you want to see some horror?
Yeah, it'll be some real horror. The Wire.
Black eye.
I know, golly, I can't believe I'm over here spitting all this stuff. It's just a lot of work that's been happening. The Wire, it will be tomorrow. Me and Leah will be knocking out the final 2 episodes of The Wire tomorrow.
I love showing up to The Wire reactions.
The Wire is great. Yeah. On Saturday evening, Frank will be having a watch of Chuchi's Doctor Who.
Saturday dead in the morning.
It's early. It is early. For those of y'all across the pond, y'all be straight. Sunday evening, Rakai and I start our journey into Chuchi's Who at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then as soon as we get done with that, we hop directly into The Last of Us. Wow, that is a lot.
Hold on.
Going on.
You're not done. Hold on.
What else?
All right, so just Syntell and Frank are doing From.
Mm-hmm.
Syntell and Leah are doing The Wire.
Yep.
You got Frank who'll do Doctor Who as soon as it comes out Saturday morning in the Discord. So you definitely need to be in the Discord.
On the minutes, so be on time.
He ain't right on time. No Niger time, no CP.
No, be on CP time.
I'm as white as it gets. So
unless your CP time means Canadian people time, you better be on time, goddamn. But then you got, so let's see. So me and Syntell Sundays we'll do the new Disney Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. We'll do The Last of Us. We're on hiatus for another week or 2 before we jump into season 10 of Doctor Who again with 12 with Peter Capaldi. Mm-hmm. We are doing the studio. Which we're just about finished with the studio. We got like an episode or 2 of that left. We're done with the studio. We had just finished Andor. We have Mobland. We got a couple episodes of that left. Yeah. 2 or 3 episodes of Mobland left. We're doing Forever. And we just started that, and there's 10 of those. And then we have some movies. We got some other stuff coming up. Like we stayed 4 movies in the lab
already. Yeah, it's
that's right. Yeah. Take that Addison, eat your heart out. No, I'm lying. I ain't barely keep up. I'm up all night. That's why I'm up. And insomnia. I'm thinking about editing shit in my sleep. I just wake up, cap cut. Oh shit. Damn it. That's why y'all need to come to my Patreon. I need some shekels. I need to hire some damn editors. I can't keep up. Listen, at any rate, thank you, everyone. I cannot say this enough. The journey keeps going. We are fortunate to be content creators, even though it's not a role that I ever saw myself being in. I am so thankful that I'm here now. We here now. The power of the word is important, and we do understand the role, the responsibility that we have, that what we put out into the world is going to come back to you. Now, how it comes back to you, that's up to you. You choose to invite them troubles into your life. So if you're fortunate enough to be like me, you can surround yourself with good people like Frank, Sherelle, Syntell, Randy, Courtney, Catherine, Chuck, all the many other people that are in the Discord. Far too many to name. We get a chance to do this every week, and if you check the comments, we keep it a buck, we keep it 100. Maybe you don't like what we put out, what we said. Okay, give a shit. You know, I'm gonna respond to you. I'm gonna respond, and you know, what I'm saying, you might catch me one of those days. I got time today. You know, Syntell always says that I take your time. Listen, you might not want me to have no time. You might want me to be like, thank you for your comment, keep it pushing. You might get this work. At any rate, I appreciate you dropping to the Patreon. I'm trying to get back to where I'm dropping videos early. As always, keep coming to the YouTube, mine and Syntell's. Like, there's a lot of content rolling off on a weekly basis. I've started taking my long forms and dropping them and cutting them into shorts, which is an interesting journey. Because a lot of people are coming across my shorts on TikTok or Instagram, and they don't have a real context. They don't know what video that came from. And they'd be like, what you talking about? And I was like, hey, just click it right there. It says what video came. Yeah, right. Just at any rate, again, thank y'all. Remember, everything that we watch, we use this. But it's even more important that we have these discussions and we all use this. Thank you, all of you chefs.
Hey, thank you, chef.
All right. And we will see y'all next time, next week, same time, same channel. So you got on the Syntell's, you got on mine. Keep doing it. We'll be here. See y'all.